So today would be a little different. I will be just asking some questions. I will be
I
grilling
hope
these.
not very difficult ones.
No man. So I'll be asking few questions, and I think we have got two amazing people here to contribute and to share their knowledge, experience with us. And they are very different people, but very similar. They both are growth leaders. Vaibhav comes from a business called Growth School. I have seen him building it from ground up. I used to get very irritated with his ads that used to pop in into LinkedIn. But when I attended him, कौन हंसा? ठीक है.
They were just talking about ad frustration just before this.
So I used to get very frustrated with Vaibhav's ads in the LinkedIn. But when I attended his session, I said कि चलो देखते करता क्या ये बंदा. ये बहुत ज्ञान दे रहा है, क्या करता है. I was really impressed. And then मैंने बोला कि यार I must get Vaibhav in one of our events very soon. So thanks Vaibhav for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And Vishy, thank you for being here, Vaibhav. And Vaibhav is coming from Shiprocket, which has built a massive company in India, raised multiple rounds of funding. Though I'm not judging you from your fundraise, but I think you have built a massive company, and we would love to get some lessons from you on that front. So again, today's thought process would be around getting some growth nuggets from both these gentlemen who have scaled massively and apply some of them in your own businesses. So to start with, maybe why don't you do a very quick intro of your business? Like what do you sell? Whom do you sell? And like what's your average ticket size? Because then we will talk about the growth hacks. Yes, Vaibhav.
Sorry,
yeah?
I was just carried away looking at the audience.
No problem. So
Okay,
yeah.
so I run this very small startup, though he says we have scaled a lot, we haven't. I run something called as Growth School. In Growth School, we're trying to do education the way it should have been, where you learn from people who you want to become. You want to become a performance marketer like a lot of people are, or a marketing leader. You might as well learn from someone like a head of performance of a Google, Facebook, Swiggy, Zomato, versus a professor who was probably studied in your same college, didn't get a job and ended up teaching you again in the same college, right? So that's the intent of Growth School. We have done about 2.5 lakh students so far. Started with my small workshop called as
small.
LinkedIn workshop. How many of you have taken a LinkedIn workshop here? Can you give me a shout?
Woo! Yeah. See? 2.5 lakh students. And you are saying it's small. No problem.
I mean, based on how many
ठीक है,
products
वो तो
we
कितनी
ship
shipping की वो हम लोग समझते हैं अभी थोड़ी देर में.
So yeah, that's Growth School.
Okay, yes.
Sure. So yeah, Shiprocket, I think, it's a post-checkout experience platform. That's what we like to call it. The idea here is with the experience you have when you order from Amazon, the Prime experience, it's three things. It's trust, कि if I don't like it, वापस कर दूंगा. It's time. It will tell you when it's going to come, and it is actually going to come at that point. And it's about payment, ease of payments, multiple options, and good tracking. You know where your parcel is. You can track effectively or communicate with someone to get your parcels through. That's what we're trying to offer the D2C brands, individual website owners of the country. All of these small businesses, if they want to compete in the ecosystem with the likes of Amazon, and the biggest problem why we started this, I think it's a very quick thing. I'll take a minute on this. A lot of brands came to us saying that a lot of people are searching for my brand name on Google, but I end up getting orders from Amazon. The problem is they like your brand, but they don't trust your website because they are not even sure when I order from your website whether it's going to come on time. Will there be someone to listen to me to return or anything like that? And that's where they lose. They are spending money on branding, and actually Amazon is getting that organic demand. And that's where I think we are kind of matching up to that. And that's what Shiprocket is. It's a mix of multiple products in a suite, starting with shipping aggregation, a checkout product, a warehousing solution. So idea is we're going to give you all the tools required in a fraction of a cost to give you the same service that what an Amazon does from your direct website.
Wonderful. And how many shippings you are doing every day?
So at today's point, we are at about 6-7 lakhs a day.
Yeah.
Probably.
So you can all see the modesty of these two gentlemen. One person has taught to 2.5 lakh people and he says small. And one guy ships 5 lakh packages a day and he says he's small. So anyways, we will talk about that later. So moving from here, like, what is growth hacking for you? I mean, at a personal level, any of you can take it. What is growth hacking for you?
No, yeah, for me, I think growth hacking is all about saving money. So let's be honest about it. It's when you don't have money, you do growth hackings, right? So, but actually, it's a good way of doing things. When you spend money, you get the kind of in any kind of business. When it's purchased demand or purchased customers, at some point it's never sustainable. When you go via a growth hacking section of it, a lot of demand might be slower or can go viral. It can be both. It can be a slow growth, it can be a viral growth. But it will be a sustainable one because a lot of methods of growth hacking are designed in a fashion, maybe word of mouth. Let's put it that way. Let's one guy telling 100, 100 telling 1,000. That's one version of growth hacking. But with that method, when you are coming from referrals, they're more likely to stay.
Okay. So Vaibhav, would you say that growth hacking is word of mouth, or do you have another definition of it?
I think it definitely is one part of it, but because I'm a teacher, I can probably structure
Yeah.
it in a slightly better way.
Yeah.
So I think growth hacking is more than anything as a mindset. I feel it's one of the most misunderstood word in the marketing and the growth industry, if you ask me. Growth hacking is not a magic dust. It's a very simple process of experimentation, right? We have a clear goal, which is our North Star goal. Most of us understand what a North Star goal is. And to get to a North Star goal, we think about what all experiments can we do to get there, right? And that's when all the new ideas kind of kick in. We don't ridicule any of the ideas, list down all the ideas, and go on a sprint to kind of execute one after another. And that's when you find maybe 2 ideas out of 20 ideas that you had kind of gave you results. And that's what we start calling them as growth hacks. And they're very close to a company, right? Because they're company perspective, you're trying to solve a problem and you found an answer to it. You don't want to give it out because you don't want your competition to start using it. And something that becomes infinitely scalable becomes a scalable growth hack that eventually goes on to build businesses, right? And obviously, right, at heart of growth hacking, you always have saying, how can I not spend a lot of money to get there? So it's the frugal way of growth in some sorts. Again, goes back to the mindset of experimentation.
So, I mean, what I understand from you is that you are saying that it is something where we start with the end goal of growing the business and then we try to work backward and then see what role marketing or sales or these other small tools will play in the big picture.
I mean, North Star, right? I don't know what a business's North Star is. For example, business like ShipRocket, I don't know. I'm going to guess your North Star right now. I'm assuming it's number of shippings per day, or at least at a point of time it was.
So actually, it's transactions.
Yeah, number of transactions.
Yeah, not shipping. We look at number of transactions. Could be shipped through me or not.
For sure. Okay. Clearly, I don't understand ShipRocket business as well as Vishesh does. But if you ask me for as a brand like Uber, right, it's not the total amount of revenue that it is, but actually the number of daily rides that happens, which has an indirectional correlation to revenue.
Right.
But for that to happen, that's the North Star goal, right? So every team, let's say customer success team, cannot really increase the number of rides. But if they're able to deliver great customer experience or solve customer tickets with the lowest tax, right, the customer is going to come back. And that has a correlation to indirectly growing. Sure. How do you figure out what customer success team can do at that point of time to reduce the number of support tickets or answer support tickets faster? Could be a list of experiments. Use WhatsApp bot or use automated calls or use AI to auto-solve tickets. Whatever that is, right? All of these are ideas. Something works, some things don't. Whatever scale kind of scales up. So, yeah.
Great. Yeah, so basically a set of experiments that you run to achieve your North Star.
Correct.
And you need to first set that North Star, then see that what the sales, what the marketing, what the customer service, all the customer facing or non-customer facing functions should do in the company to achieve that North Star.
Exactly. I mean,
Kind of, yeah. And then
it's particular to the team, though. But
yeah. And
I
then
don't want to go very deep right
No,
now.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, we just wanted to kind of set the context here to make sure that people understand what is the difference between sales, marketing, and growth. Because growth is a very new term that has come in. So we have seen head of marketing, we have seen head of sales, and now we are suddenly seeing head of growth as a...
Head of growth is the new head of marketing now. Do you agree?
That is my role.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's what I run in ShipRocket.
Excellent. So yeah, so I mean, so I think one of the things that you need to achieve this, I mean, two important parameters that I understand is basically achieving product market fit. And for product market fit basically gives us massive growth because it is more becomes product-led growth. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how did you figure that out? Or how you should figure it out?
हम तो बहुत छोटे हैं.
हाँ जी.
हम तो मतलब.
अरे छोटे से ही बता दो ना सर 2.5 लाख कस्टमर तो हमें भी चाहिए.
I let Vishesh take that question first.
Sir,
I would love to hear.
I have a journey of it, right? So on PMF, we have gone through, we started in 2012. My first product was called Cart Rocket. It was Shopify for India. It was a shopping cart platform.
Okay.
We scaled it to about 5,000 paid subscription websites, but there was a lot of churn. What good part for us was we were always in touch with our customers. We were listening to them. They left us, we listened to them. Why? The learning I got, and then we moved to Craftly, then we moved to ShipRocket. So there was two product failures at my journey, right? There's CartRocket and there's Craftly, pure failures. Those products never found product market fit. The learning there is, when do you realize you have a product market fit? At ShipRocket, we realized it when we started getting organic growth. And a very, very gradual increase in organic growth that on a stable pace every month on month kept increasing. There was a month when we said, let's test our hypothesis in terms of, is product market fit there? We turned off marketing, said, pull down the lever.
Okay.
Complete shutdown, zero spend at all for whole quarter. Let's see where do we land up with. Incidentally, we landed up with 20% less customers, that's it, of our general trend. That is when I thought, yes, we have a product market fit. Versus at CartRocket, we were forcing the clients to stay. They were about to churn, sir, 50% discount le lo, ruk jao. They were about to churn, sir, I'll give you 1 year for free, please try again. But the core problem was, sir, aapne website, I've got a website, but I have no idea how to generate orders. Great. So we ended up solving that problem. कि ठीक है यार आपको order नहीं आ रहा, I will start a marketplace for you. That's when Craftly jumped in. Then we realized we can't do anything better that he was doing to get him orders. If he can't get orders in a sustainable price, neither can we. There's nothing different we are doing. Same thing was Craftly. We were paying for every order at the end of the day. And suddenly after burning a small amount of money, we decided to shut it down that this is not a product. This is just buying demand. And that's when ShipRocket we realized a cost plus model where people are willing to pay us 20, 30 rupees extra per shipment just to get it through. That is pure product market fit for me. When it's coming automatically, it's coming organically, and people are willing to pay for you.
Yeah.
Combination of these two things is PMF.
So the big learning is that if you have achieved product market fit, people are ready to pay you more. Yeah. So if you are trying to say that my product, I have achieved product market fit, and then you are trying discounting, then you have not achieved product market fit, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, totally. I mean, every time I've been asked this question, I always answer the same. It's like a template right now for me. PMF, true PMF, for me is if your product goes down, which Vishesh kind of touch based on, will customers come and line up outside of your office saying, please turn your product on again? That is true PMF. Which I think a very few businesses have got, and those are the companies who have got to unicorns and like his business and Uber or Ola, let's say, right? That's true PMF. When you go out and complain on Twitter saying, boss card nahi mil raha hai, but you don't have another option, right? That is true PMF. But PMF on a broad level, I feel, is not a destination anymore. I think it's a journey. At every stage of your business, you will have different PMFs. And at the market conditions, you will have different PMF. For example, during COVID, a lot of businesses which were, let's say, edtech, guilty as charged, right? D2C, a lot of online specific businesses said they have achieved PMF, but moment pandemic kind of went off and we went back to normal, a lot of people lost their PMFs. Now again, they're back on the hunt of achieving their PMF again, right? So that's one way of looking at it. Obviously, right, on a business to business level, the way we look at it, I mean, the way we teach also is in a way that, boss, look at your retention number, look at your organic curve, look at your spend to revenue ratio. Is that going up, going down? Look at your overall LTV. If you're a single use product, look at CAC to LTVs to kind of figure out. But again, I truly believe no business has achieved PMF. It's always a
work in progress.
Journey. It's always a work in progress.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your PMF journey of a growth school?
So
because I know what it is, but I want to hear from you.
No, here's a funny story, right? So one of our investors said, "Oh, great! At such an early stage." I mean, I was out there for raising money. This was some 7-8 months back. We were out there, and one of the leading investors who ended up investing as well said, "Oh, great! You have early PMF right now." I said, "I have no idea what it means at this point of business, because I think apna jo scale hai, at that scale, you always have a set of audience who will be interested. 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh people in the country of I don't know how many crores right now. It's a very small set to kind of say that you have achieved PMF. Yes, are people willing to pay for product of growth school? Yes, a lot of people here have done that. Are people willing to come back and take a product again? Yes. Are people getting learning outcomes of it? Yes. So it's in a way, I would say we're on the journey of getting to a PMF, but I would say it's still very early to say, oh, we have got our PMF. I don't think so.
So, I mean, do you agree that if you get PMF, you can achieve zero CSE?
You want to take it or you want to?
Sorry, I missed your question.
Zero CAC.
Zero CAC. And you can achieve zero CAC if you achieve
Absolutely,
PMF?
absolutely.
Do you
There's no
have zero
doubt about
CAC already?
it. Not already, but we are very close to one. Yes.
Wonderful. What about you, Vaibhav?
I think it depends on the kind of business you are in. Because as a ship rocket, like they're catering to a very D2C e-com kind of brand. So I think zero CAC, achieving zero CAC there is probably much more reasonable than to do a consumer side business zero CAC, right? The simple reason being you have to, like on a consumer side, your potential customers are 100 million people out there.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's very hard. So again, I'll go back to my point. Instead of businesses kind of trying to chase zero, first of all, I feel there is no zero CAC. Sorry. If I,
No. So by zero CAC, I mean at some scale, and that scale is different for every business. There is something called virality has to kick in.
yes, viral loop.
Yes. It's now virality can be combined. Ki, this is still a cost. I've invested over 5-7 years to get to virality. That's a cost. Now you can say, ki, now I'm going to index that cost to virality that I have today of investment I've done for the last 7 years. That's one way to look at it.
Exactly.
But at one point, I personally believe there is that virality angle that will kick in, where you will get more people than you can handle at one point, and that's where you are. You get
What a
that.
wonderful position to be in. I would love to be in that position.
We've been there. The post-COVID, when COVID hit, the entire sentiment around my investors, everyone, it was like, "Dunya khatam ho rahi hai, band karo, fire people, cut down costs, go back, everything." It was all about that whole environment of saying, "Ki, this is not coming back anytime soon. It's on the end of it." And we personally never did any change. We said, let's wait out. The business doesn't burn too much money, let's wait it out. When world started opening up, we started seeing people going online a lot, of course. Everyone wanted to have an alternate channel of business. And the demand that came in through our systems was way more. It was like 10 times more than we can ever handle. We were getting bashed from all sides. You're not picking up calls, you're not opening my account. My tech teams are struggling, the systems are going down, the forms are not getting. So we have seen that side of it. When you start getting so much influx and you're not prepared for it. But it will happen to every business at one point in the journey where you're not prepared for it.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, to give a lot of value to the team group here, why don't you both share few growth hacks from your playbook that has worked for you? I know, Vaibhav, you are trying to hide it, but you have to give it up now.
I'll take money for it.
वो छुपा रहा है उसको देना पड़ेगा वो सोच रहा है उसका भी कोर्स बना के बेचेगा वो नहीं चलेगा अभी यहाँ थोड़ा देना पड़ेगा
By the way, sign up for the growth hacking course.
No, I am telling you, please sign up for his growth hacking course, but also demand that he gives up something here now. Chalo.
Acha, me. Okay. I think the real sad answer here is growth hacks are in a way that something that works for me is not supposed to work for you.
Absolutely agree.
Right.
But tell us what worked for you.
So the growth processes that we set up is what kind of scales up and works, right? I cannot pinpoint a specific growth hack which kind of scaled up, but I think it's more of nuances of things that we have learned over the course of time. Let's say we run performance marketing, like I'm assuming every marketer runs ads, right? To kind of achieve the scale they want. Creative testing that we had done, you won't believe, the creative testing that I had done back at Uber, the learnings that I've had back at Uber, I could literally apply them during my growth school time and could still, I mean, it's not direct copy paste of it, but the learnings that we have got, the nitty-gritties, right? So one of the gentlemen who was speaking right before me, I heard him saying where you have to show up multiple angles for a user to convert, because though you have a product which is a great product and a lot of people need it, you are not catering to their use case. That is something that I learned at Growth School. The experiment that we run at Growth School is every program that we kind of launched, it is the same program in the back end, but we positioned as 5 different programs, right? And different kind of audiences came into the program for the same content because the content is the same. The biggest example is the growth hacking, the LinkedIn one, right? It was catering to people who are trying to generate leads. It was catering to people who are trying to build personal brand. It was catering to people who are looking for jobs. The content doesn't change. It's the same, but it caters to all the three. So we have three different landing pages, three different set of creators pushing out to the same set of audience, works phenomenally well. That is something that we kind of replicate across the board, right? A lot of loops that we kind of have brought in the picture is to again increase the LTV of the overall user, right? What are the kind of plugs that you can do during the course of content during the program so we can kick in that viral loop, right? Giving something to the user and expecting something in back. At Growth School, we very much believe in the barter system, right? And that is a very interesting growth hack that has worked. Almost 25% of our users that come organically comes in because of the proof of work people put out on their social media during the course of program. That has worked incredibly well for us as a growth hack as well. So, and a bunch of other things here, steal emails, go check out Hunter, write a cold email, put a image with, like if I want to invite Vishesh for a podcast, I would put Vishesh's name on a coffee cup in all automation using a tool like Lemlist and send him. Probably that'll get his attention rather than me writing a long ass email saying, Vishesh, I'm your biggest fan, please come to my podcast. And once he comes to the podcast, how do I ask him the right questions for which he tells me the right answers, which will indirectly promote the program also is very important. So when Vishesh says, yeah, logistics is one of the biggest problems in D2C, I say that's great. Arjun and Trisha Vedya, who sold their company for 100 crores, teach D2C at Growth School. FYI, that's a plug, right? You can come and join Growth School. So I've been able to tap into Vishesh's audience, which is the other people network right there. So it depends on your problem that you're trying to solve, and those are the growth hacks. I hope that answers.
Not fully.
We can do one more thing. For who all are interested in growth hacks here? 100 growth hacks. Okay, not like this. I want to shout because the audience has been quite dead.
Yes.
I want to shout. Woo!
Yeah.
I see around 15 to 20 people shouting. I'm going to try it once again. Who all wants like 100 growth hacks? I want to shout. Woo! All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I have actually written a list of 100 growth hacks. I'll get the email IDs or I'll send the resource. Sure. They'll share it with everybody. You can watch it and learn it for free.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I still remember when I saw his course, I was just trying to see how he does his growth hacks. And one of his growth hacks was like engaging people like this, the way you did just now. Yeah. So if you like it, show a thumbs up. Right? And then everybody would go thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Right? I mean, it was fascinating.
यार इतना दूर से आए हैं, थोड़ा मतलब एनर्जी तो वापस चाहिए. ब्रेकफास्ट भी नहीं खाया.
एकदम क्यों नहीं खाया?
Late उठे.
No. So yes, Vishesh, what are your growth hacks?
So, see, I personally run growth for ShipRocket, and that's what I've been. And why we did this distinction to growth chala was across co-founders and me. I don't come from a formal education system in terms of I did my schooling, never went to college, and then just jumped into the entrepreneurship right there and then. So when you don't do a formal MBA or a formal thing, somehow you think a little differently because I've not been taught a certain process, so I'm forced to think differently. I'll tell you 3 of use cases how at ShipRocket we did, and this was I'm going from a very early side of growth, a mid-stage company when we were in the middle of our journey, and today when we are a little mature, what we are doing today. So all 3 is pure examples, very real examples what we do. So at very early stage, we were very lucky that we never got enough money to burn and learn. So we were very lucky about that, and we always had that pressure of our growth numbers as well. So that's a very lucky place to be in. We have limited cash and we have to figure it out. That forced us to figure it out saying, and I learned the word network and community. That works in a B2B business, that has worked beautifully for us. So when it was CartRocket, the first set of 1,000 customers that came in, we identified about 100 of them who were doing very well or in their comparison of the other 1,000. We called them to our office, set up a small get-together, got everyone into a single room, and asked them, why don't you become our power users? Hame kya milega? Why should we do this for you? We came back with a very great proposal for them. Said, you help us drive this, tell other folks about CartRocket, help other folks build websites, and of course, with the referral income that you anyways get, of course, on their sales, I will also make sure your business runs for free for your lifetime on the platform. So your technology, my technology for you, 100 of you is free for your lifetime. The only thing I asked in return is, help me spread the word. Community is a very small group. When someone's running a business, and D2C, we are seeing this today. In D2C, it's a very, very tight-knit community. Most people know most people, so it's a very good one. And people listen to ones. People like to follow the leader. So if Mamaearth was growing and they were trending into becoming a very nice company in D2C, a lot of people in their category would like to follow Mamaearth, use the same technologies they do, use the same strategies they do. So that became, when he says something, everyone will listen. That helped us get to our early to mid stage. When we were mid stage, we realized the percentage growth on the base of a bigger base is harder to crack by just people telling each other. That is when you figure out what's next. So that we came up with a very new idea in terms of, let me start doing this city level. So we created this, ab to bahut hota hai, but in 2014-15, we picked up our bags and saying we are going to visit every small city in India and start doing these. Now growth school is formal, but let's start teaching people. So we did that. यार हम free में जाएंगे, सबको सिखाएंगे online business कैसे करते हैं. And we have picked up a team of 5-10 people under me, packed our bags, and every week we were in different city every 3 days. And that cities were Varanasi, Saharanpur, Bareilly, where people actually, no one goes there. So people never thought कोई यहाँ भी आएगा हमारे पास. So the attention you get is much wider compared to Bangalore में कोई आया सिखाने type. So it changed for us. So we went to these smaller towns, and my customers belong there. So that helped us when we did these classes, saying we are going to teach you for free, and people used to come in. That was our mid-stage journey where we were teaching. And on a mature stage, we did a very interesting thing. Now we are ecosystem. Why can't everyone become partners? So when our fundraisers came along, we said it's time to lock in customers and also become part of the customers who are going to become big in next 3-4 years. That's what, at this stage, you have to think 3-4 years ahead. I want to be part of the journeys of next Mamaearths or next big D2C brands. One we did was, all of the matured founders, we got them to invest in Shiprocket. We started our internal venture arm saying, we will invest in D2C brands. So we went ahead and started investing in early stage D2C brands, where now they can start seeing Shiprocket not just as a logistics company, but as a partner in their journey. So we started investing back in D2C. For ecosystem players and other products that are offered, we invested in them. For bigger ones, we let them invest in Shiprocket. So now everyone's trying to be part of each other's journey in the next phase of next 5 years. So that's few learnings and use cases I have gone through in our journey. And these are the ones that work beautifully for us.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very innovative. No, I mean, I'll add a growth hack to it.
This is true founder hustle, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's all about understanding the consumer's pain point and his sentiments. What will actually make him move and what will make him talk about you. So as long as you can figure that out, like I think one of the most common example is Uber giving you 200 rupees and, and also the referral, the 200 rupees. I think that was the most common growth hack. But I think it's all about understanding the sentiment of the user and his overall motivation. Great. So I'll add a bonus growth hack to it. And it's more about B2B, what we did at our company. So what we figured out that, when we sell to large enterprises, we sell digital transformation services to large enterprises. And we found that everybody is online. Everybody is disturbing people on LinkedIn, right? Sending in mails and all that. So we figured out that let's go offline. And we printed a brochure, not just a brochure. It was a coffee table book, 15 inch by 15 inch. The reason for that was that it cannot be trashed, right? 15 inch by 15 inch coffee table book. And it was almost like a, proper bookie thi wo. You will have to open it like this and, right? And we used to ship it to all the CEOs of the company and said that, please refer it to your CIOs. And it would reach there. Since it looks big, it cannot be trashed. The secretary would actually put it on the CEO's table. They will have a look at it. So I'm actually getting their eyeballs, and I am getting their eyeballs in a high quality media. And that helped us convert 2 large enterprises with only 100 bookshots. Yeah. So I mean, I would say that again might be something that that might work for companies. And of course, I think one very important thing that Vaibhav and Vishesh both said that every growth hack is specific to companies, and it may not be a copy-paste thing. So you cannot just pick up Vishesh's idea and just copy-paste in your business. You have to understand what is the framework that he's using, what emotion he is addressing to, and then apply that into your business. Would that be the right assumption?
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
I think I'll just add
as
to
we are just nearing the end of our session, you both raised hell lot of money. I mean, you've just started, but again, I mean, you have got Sequoia backing you, man.
Not
you will,
me.
you will get much more money now. So why don't you tell a little bit about, how do you go and hack the fundraising process?
There is no hack to a fundraising process, but I will try and just voice out one thing. Don't be dependent on a fundraising.
Of course.
There's no hack, and if your business design is around external fundraise, it's a very complicated place to be in, because then you will never be sleeping peacefully. I'll come to your question, but this is what I wanted to voice out very in front of everyone. The other thing is, just try and, if you're running a business, if grow, invest, spend to grow, it's a weird statement, but do that. But every 1 quarter in a year, try and go back to profitability, just to prove yourself that your business is capable and have not fundamentally destroyed the design of the business. So this is 1 quarter. Try and say, yeah, this quarter we are going to be break even or positive. That will always keep you on toes, saying, yeah, I'm not destroying the fundamentals of the business in the rush of growing. Now, coming to on fundraising side, I think the great thing that worked for us was we have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of no's. We keep pitching. It's like 300 pitches to 1 success ratio hota hai. So don't worry about it. 5 na bolenge, so don't worry about it. There are more people who want to invest than people who want to raise. So that's a reality today. So don't worry about it. There's enough people. You only need 1 to believe in it. You don't need 100. You only need 1 guy to say yes. So 100 no's don't matter. But keep everyone in touch. Just have a mailing list. Keep everyone apprised of what you are building, what you are doing. Host dinners, host lunches. Just make sure you are in touch. No matter they said no. They could even be at a point saying that your business will never work. But that's okay. Just make sure you keep updating your progress and your journey to everyone. And some guy will open his email one day and try and connect the dots saying, yaar, isse mila tha, ye bada acha tha. Then he'll start digging and he'll say, come back to you himself. But that's the only hack in terms of just be out there, let people know what you're doing, because if you're not known, then no one can say yes.
That is very, very apt and true. That is something that I'm trying to, one of my angels kind of recommended me, saying I should build a newsletter, looping in all the angels and all the investors and send emails. But I think my fundraising journey has been quite interesting. Considering non-IITian, non-IIM and non-tech guy, or kya, solo founder are all red flags for most of the investors out there. So I said I probably won't be able to raise money. So this is what happened, right? We were a very small team. We were on stealth. We didn't say the world that we are growth school. Only few people who had taken the program knew the brand of the name growth school. So I told my team, I'm going to take 3 weeks to 4 weeks max. Go out, try fundraising. If you're not able to raise, come back and build business. Right? That was the intent. 4 weeks straight, I'm off the business. That was my way of validating if the business will work without me as well or not. A lot of people initially told me you have to build a kick-ass pitch deck, have to write out some great emails and all that. So here's what I did. It might work, it might not work for you. I created a Notion doc answering all the top questions that someone should know about what I'm trying to build at Growth School. No pitch deck, no slides, nothing. A Notion doc. Once that was done, I started to make a list of investors. Not a big one because I only had 30 days. I started to make a list of around 30 to 40 investors and I put them into 3 buckets. One, which investors that I would love to raise money from. The second one would be my second bet. Third, probably the investors who I'd raised, even if I get a check, I might not raise from, right? I put them in because not every investor is made alike. I started to pitch the guys where I would never raise money from, record the calls, make playbooks out of my pitch, because this is what you'll realize. After 5 to 10 pitches, all the questions are same. There are no new questions. That is it. It's like a leaked question bank, right? So I literally built the question bank. My team, a couple of people over here, actually watched all the recordings, made questions, looked at the answers. Are we satisfied with the answers? Few yes, few not, few can be better. We documented. So as I moved on to the middle phase, I only did 2 or 3. I started to get, I got 1 term sheet out of it, right? Out of 3 calls that I did. So I knew I had all the answers to all the questions that there might be. And a lot of times I was addressing the questions before they were asking me the question. So that also makes the investors feel that bande ko kuch pata hai, but it was basically like us being a little smart. And then finally, I went to the investors that I want money from, and we managed to close our funding actually in 2 weeks instead of like 4 weeks, right? So this is what we tried to do. But again, something that I want to double click on again is not every business needs investment. A lot of people think investment is an achievement. It absolutely is not. There's a different side of business that I am seeing right now, which is quite fascinating, which I never realized would be the case, right? So first of all, the first question that you have to ask yourself is, this is something that I tell all my friends who reach out to me saying, "Bhai, Sequoia se connect kar de, Nexus se connect kar de." I usually say this: if you get unlimited source of money, where will your business get to? If your answer is you don't know, you probably don't need the money right now.
Absolutely.
So that is my way of going about it.
I think it's a great hack to raise money. I think this is fabulous. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. So I think this was a fantastic session from Vishesh and Vaibhav. One already a unicorn, one is a sunicorn, and
Hopicon.
Hopicon. Yeah. So I think this was fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for taking out time and and sharing your insights and learnings with all of us.
What a pleasure to share a stage with two of these amazing gentlemen. I'm truly humbled. I truly mean it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Vishesh. Thanks, Vaibhav.